Yo, back in Chicago, back on the lakefront. Legs are toasted from Sunday from Big Sur. But in this video, we're gonna talk about recovery, what the impact of marathons is on your legs and your body, and then also what races I've got lined up. We'll talk about that towards the end. But yeah, pretty dialed, excited to be back home.
Yo, what's going on, everyone? Back home after the Big Sur Marathon. That's officially the 7th month in a row for me that I've ran a marathon. I'll throw up the all-time list that I'm compiling here. As you can see, I've kind of got, I think it's June, July, August, and September. I still need to figure out which races I'm gonna be doing in June, and I'm gonna talk about this later in the video. I've got the Ironman 70.3 in Rockford. So unfortunately, that's only a half marathon. It does not qualify for a marathon in a month. But I'll find a race to squeeze in that month, but we're gonna be busy. So figured now would be an appropriate time to make a video around how to recover from a marathon. What's the impact on your body of a marathon? So I also learned a couple of things here today that I have jotted down on the screen here. So if you see me looking that way, that's what I'm looking at. But really, the impact of the marathon comes down to a couple different things. So one of the things is it creates micro tears on your muscle fibers, and this is something that happens if you're somebody that goes to the gym and lifts weights. You'll get micro tears on your muscle fibers, which can be a good thing, right? If you then consume protein, you're actually building muscle. So this is something that happens in the marathon. Sometimes it's to a pretty extreme degree, but you can manage it, and it's obviously usually going to be focused on your quads, your calves, and your hamstrings, because those are the muscles that get worked the most during the marathon. So you're gonna get micro tears in your muscle fibers. You're also gonna have your muscle glycogen stores depleted. So you might be asking yourself, what is glycogen? So that's basically when carbohydrates are consumed, they get turned into glucose. And glucose, when it is stored, that energy that's ready to be used is called glycogen. So when we're fueling ahead of marathons by eating a lot of carbs, we're looking to store fuel that we can then tap into when we're doing physical activity. So your glycogen stores become depleted. That's also why you take gels during the marathon and other forms of nutrition like that, so that you can keep your body moving and keep powering through. And then your immune system can also become suppressed in the days following a marathon. That's because you have elevated levels of cortisol, which is a stress hormone. And that stress hormone, it regulates stress, obviously, but then also manages your metabolism. It manages inflammation and a couple other important things. So elevated levels of cortisol lead to a suppressed immune system in a couple days following the race. And then mental and emotional effects are also pretty real after the marathon. As adrenaline wears off, you kind of get more fatigued, which can lead to restlessness and also even sadness. There's something that people call the post-race blues. Running a marathon can be such an exciting thing, and you get so stoked and happy afterwards that there is a come down period following the race. So that's something that you can anticipate as well. And then dehydration, it's another impact of the marathon. Obviously, during the race, we're gonna be trying to drink water, trying to drink electrolytes, whatever they might have out on the course. But odds are you're not gonna be getting enough, just because it's not realistic. So you'll likely be a bit dehydrated after the race with electrolyte imbalances. So how do we recover from all that stress on our body? Well, I'll go through a couple things, and everything that I cover will also be tied to the impacts that marathons have on your body. Number one, rehydrate with electrolytes immediately after the race. This is something that makes a lot of sense. You just finished the race, you need water, you need electrolytes, you're gonna be dehydrated, so this is how you help for that. And then walking around right as you finish the race, you're probably gonna wanna curl up in a ball with your space blanket and just chill, but you gotta walk around, you gotta stay mobile, otherwise your body will cramp up and you won't feel so good. Another thing that's really important to do is eat carbs and protein ASAP. So this ties directly to your depleted glycogen stores. You wanna replenish that immediately, get some carbs in your system. And then also with the micro tears in your muscles, you're gonna wanna repair your muscles and strengthen your muscles, so get some protein in your system as well. Those are two things I'd emphasize. Another point, and the final point of emphasis on recovery that I'm gonna make, is sleep. Sleep is something I emphasize all the time. I personally put a ton of focus into my sleep. I usually do no blue light before bed. I put my phone downstairs when I go upstairs and go to sleep. And then another thing that impacts your sleep is going to be beers. So the first night of the marathon, actually, I know people like to have beers and celebrate. That's probably a good time to do it, honestly, because you might not get that restful sleep. The day after a marathon, or the day of the marathon, you're gonna have adrenaline in your body that's working its way out, and so that'll affect your sleep. But the nights following, make sure to get really restful sleep because, as I said, your muscles need to recover, and sleep is the number one place that happens. So those are the primary forms of recovery, and those are the impacts that running a marathon has on your body, and I hope you find some of that helpful. I actually learned a couple of things here myself that I'll definitely be using, and yeah, thanks. So we've talked about the impact of marathons on your body. We've talked about how to recover from marathons, and this is something that I'm going to be focusing on personally a whole lot this next month because I need to recover really quickly and ramp back up really quickly because I have a packed race schedule. So I shared at the beginning of the video the 7 marathons that I've done the past 7 months, but I need to continue to hit the goals that I've set. And for May 31st, I've got the Mohican 100-mile trail race. It's going to be my first 100-mile race. And some of you might be sitting at home like, 100 miles, how or why does somebody even run that distance? Honestly, it's hard for me to wrap my head around that distance right now. The furthest marathon or ultra marathon that I've done is 50 miles, and that felt like a lifetime. So I've got a lot of hard work to do this month in ramping back up after Big Sur and preparing for that race. So I am really excited. I'm aiming for sub 24 hours. So I'll be running for 24 hours. I'll actually do a standalone video on my preparation for Mohican. What are ultra marathons? Why do people run them? I'll cover a lot of that in a standalone video separately. But then after Mohican 100, which is on May 31st, I'll be doing the Ironman, my first half Ironman, Ironman 70.3 in Rockford. So if anyone here doesn't know what an Ironman is, that's 1.2 miles swimming. It's 56 miles, then biking. And then after that, the last discipline is a 13.1 mile run. So that's why it's 70.3 actually, is because it's just all of the miles added up. So I'm so excited for that. It's been really fun, like doing some cross training, swimming and biking. And I've felt myself get a lot stronger in a couple different areas because of that. Yeah, so that's something I'm going to be doing as well. And actually in spirit of training for that Ironman 70.3, my roommate Nolan and I, because Nolan's the one that got me to do the race, he's doing it as well. He and I this Saturday are going to be doing a simulated triathlon of our own. So right now the plan is to do a 1-mile swim, a 30-mile bike, and a 6-mile run. I kind of figured, I had Big Sur last weekend. I want to emphasize cross training and active recovery this week. So this week I've already been doing a whole lot of swimming and kind of like I've kept my run streak alive with 1 or 2 mile runs so far. It's Thursday. I now may go out and do about 5 or 6 miles if my legs feel okay. But again, I've got to ramp up as safely and as smartly as possible. But this weekend, Nolan and I are simulating a triathlon. It is going to begin at the LPAC, Lincoln Park Athletic Club, early in the morning on Saturday with our swim. And from there, we'll hit the bike and we'll hit the run. And we're actually going to post a video on it Saturday, so stay tuned for that. And yeah, guys, I hope you learned something new from this video. I certainly did in making it. And yeah, pumped to grind the next couple months, guys. I hope you enjoy the journey. Peace.